I thought this was very interesting. You found this story, Jay, about Erik Prince, the former CEO of Blackwater. Let's hear an. Oh, go
And
ahead.
really quick,
Go ahead.
before you show the video,
Yeah.
Blackwater, the company that Erik Prince founded, was the one that got caught on video by Julian Assange killing those first responders in Iraq. I don't know if you guys remember that big controversy that happened with the videos Julian Assange exposed, where our American mercenaries were literally killing like first responders trying to help people. They were shooting them in the middle of them helping people. And this is the guy who Trump has surrounded himself with and is now listening to on foreign policy that isn't directly involved in, Ukraine or Israel. It feels to me like Erik Prince is going to be leading America's foreign policy in South America and Africa. Go ahead and play the clip, or you can pull up the screenshot. So
we'll do the clip and then we'll look at the screenshot. But this is from a few months back of last year, Erik Prince and his take on how America should conduct its foreign policy. Here we go.
All this talk of illegal migration in Europe, in the United States, it ultimately comes down to a contest of what is governance. Who is governed? Which countries are governed well? And if so many of these countries around the world are incapable of governing themselves, then it's time for us to just put the imperial hat back on to say, we're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourselves, because enough is enough. We're done being invaded.
Because our own national security risk is at stake.
Exactly.
National security interests are at stake.
You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves and benefiting their citizens because the governments there are all about looting and pillaging and lining their pockets and going shopping in Paris instead of actually making their country a better.
People on the left are going to watch this. They're going to say, wait a minute, Erik Prince is talking about being a colonialist again.
Absolutely. Yes. Enough. Because if you go to these countries and you see how they suffer under absolutely corrupt, made-up governments that are just criminal syndicates, the people of Africa, the people of Latin America, a lot of them deserve better.
Wow. Unbelievable. And now you mentioned, Jay, about aligning with Trump. Well, how is Trump aligning with Erik Prince? I mean, he's just a guy with a loud mouth that started this horrible company that's done a lot of horrible stuff on this planet. But why would Trump do that? Well, let's see. You have this Trump. So he was a Trump supporter. He reaches a deal with Congo. This is a few months ago in April. He reaches a deal with Congo to help secure mineral wealth. Oh, I can feel Trump turning his attention right away, going, where can we make some money on a mineral deal? That sounds kind of familiar. Where's the cash to be made on this? Well, this is Congo and Rwanda signed U.S. Mediated peace deal. I'll do quotes on that one. After decades of conflict, we're getting a lot of the mineral rights as part of the deal. So he, like you say, Jay, he's kind of going in line with this, whatever you call him. As the guy who started Blackwater, now he's just kind of throwing his ideology of we have to stop everyone else because we know what's best. And he's charging all in here, making this deal, this mineral deal, as he takes over. This is American imperialism in its works. And the way you're talking about, Jay, this is aside from what Palantir is doing, aside from the Zionist agenda. He's able to pull this off in South Africa. I think you might be right here. You want to expand on that a little? Like what are we looking at right now? Yeah.
The amount of ignorance that is on display in that clip is, absolutely astounding because if you just take a look at the history of intelligence agencies, not just in America, but in, other NATO aligned countries, like they've literally made a foreign policy of divide and conquer to rape, continents of resources and countries of resources. So it's so funny to me how in one clip we have Erik Prince saying that illegal immigration is the biggest problem in this country. And because of that, we need to go in and take control of these African governments because they're not benefiting their people. And then Trump the guy who Erik Prince endorses, right, is now bragging about getting the rights to the minerals over there. So you tell me, Mr. Prince, how is it that you are part of an effort to extract the wealth from the resources in a country that is not benefiting the people, and you're going to complain when those people decide that they can't stay there because it's too dangerous and it's too poor and there's no opportunities there, and a big part of the reason that's happening is because their wealth is being extracted? You're literally driving the problem that you claim to care about. Like, you claim to care about illegal immigration, and that's why America should start getting involved in these countries. And then you directly participate in the activities that are keeping them poor. So the level of hypocrisy is completely off the charts. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, immigration shouldn't be a controversial issue. I really don't think there's that much disagreement between most Americans on what immigration policy should be. We should know who's coming in and out the country. We should probably have some limits on the number of people that can come here per year. There could be a difference between being able to work here and having full rights to vote as a citizen. Like, if we really work through these issues, it could easily be solved. And if people tied American foreign policy into the immigration issue, so many birds would be killed with the same stone. Because the moment we stop destabilizing these countries and they start to pick up some momentum and develop themselves, people aren't going to risk everything to come to America to live poor over here. Like, I just want people to think about something. Is the average African refugee coming over here and living like an amazing life, like what we would consider, an amazing life? Are they coming over here and, living like the Kardashians? No. Like, most of them who come over here are struggling to make it. They're at the bottom of society, and the ones who are illegal, like, a lot of them suffer a lot of abuse, yet they're willing to do it because the situation is so desperate over there. So if we stopped our role in creating that desperate situation, which unfortunately is a large role. And if you go back to the link I had sent you, I actually built not a total list, but an estimate of all the different countries America has overthrown or attempted to overthrow since the Second World War. And it's amazing. Like, nearly every country in South America, a bunch of countries in Africa, most countries in the Caribbean, even countries in Europe. America. I'm like, Matt, did you know that we tried to coup the French government in the 1950s?
No, I did not know that.
We've tried to coup almost everybody, but we keep our focus on the places with the most resources that may be a little bit more vulnerable, because that's what the American corporations want, right?
That's right. So maybe I could pull this list. Is it on the one with the
yeah, it's the one with the video of Erik Prince talking.
Oh, with the video. Okay.
Yeah. And I just want people to realize that there isn't a single country that we get a significant amount of illegal immigrants from that we haven't played a large role in destabilizing, or another NATO country hasn't, greatly destabilized. So just have some empathy, guys, and realize that, it's not always 100% the fault of the people over there. Oftentimes there are outside forces at play, more often than not, especially in, Africa and South America. So,
yeah, I'm not finding the list, but I did actually grab a screenshot from your tweet. So let me throw that on here, because I think that's important. This is what he threw up there. So it looks like Trump's taking marching orders from Erik Prince. The establishment is the problem, not only Zionists. The divide and conquer strategy is keeping the African continent oppressed, driving the illegal immigration crisis conservatives rightly call out. Unite until America is self-conscious about the role its foreign policy plays in creating situations desperate enough for people in third world countries to flee at any cost, and directly links that to the illegal immigration crisis, the divide and conquer strategy will continue to flourish. Yeah. Dark money funds terrorist groups and pit governments against each other. And you say mostly NATO countries, of course. The American companies not the American people, benefit from the resources that should be helping develop places that illegal immigrants are fleeing. It's all a coordinated strategy that Trump is a part of. He's not the internal victim of picking bad people and being portrayed that his supporters think he is. He's a deep state oligarch looking to cement business deals to ensure his family remains in the oligarchy for generations. Good take. I will just do one notch less than you and say, I think his biggest want and need is legacy over. I think that he absolutely wants his family to be taken care of, but legacy's everything. And in that case, he can be easily bait and switched on himself. I don't think he fully is pretending when he says yes to something and didn't fully look into it. I think he gets very impulsive as somebody who sees his name in lights and sees, I think he actually goes to bed sometimes and dreams about a Nobel Peace Prize. I think he's delusional in that sense. But so if legacy's number one, then I think everything you're saying into that is accurate for sure. However, there are ways you can fool Trump with his own narcissism. And he's not fully aware of all of the things he's in bed with. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to give him. I'm just saying he's not fully aware of all the horrible, nefarious things he's in bed with all the time.
And I hear you. And what you're saying is definitely a possibility. But me personally, I'm just going based on what I know about his personal history. That's why I say that. Okay. Because when people underestimate, what it means to be like mentored by Roy Cohn, the architect of the blackmail operation that ties intelligence agencies to organized crime. Like, that is 1,000% deep state. And if that's what he was doing in the 1980s, as RFK Jr. was trying to clean up rivers, and save the environment, not to put RFK Jr. on a pedestal, but it's just an example that people can spend their time in different ways. And the way Trump spent his time, I have trouble believing that he is as clueless as, people, as some of the people who criticize him, think he is. That's all. So I think he is very much tied in, but he's a great actor. And he also has his finger on the pulse, which is why he knows what's popular and what's not popular. And if he has to do something that he knows is unpopular, he's going to pretend like, well, I don't want to do it. Netanyahu, why'd you do that? Iran, why don't you just come back to the table? But the ultimate goal is to, further the establishment, man. Balkanization of Iran. It's not even just regime change or the nuclear plant. They want to break the whole country up. So, I feel terrible for what our tax dollars are funding right now.
Yeah, for sure. Let's end this segment with one more guy Trump has surrounded himself with. And this is I'm just going to play this because we've covered Alex Karp. We know how insane stuff he said. But this kind of puts a bow around pretty much everything we've been talking about today, Jay. And I'm going to leave the window open that Trump can't. Does he fully? Actually, let's just ask the question to the viewers. Does Trump fully understand how deranged of a psychopath a guy like Alex Karp is, not to mention Erik Prince and all the people he is surrounded, like Jay, you say, he's intentionally surrounding himself with these people for ultimate personal agenda. Mm-hmm. But is he fully aware of the psychopathic language and what's actually going on in these people's minds? Here's Alex Karp with his latest announcement, quiet part out loud to an audience who you're hearing them not fully clap. They're kind of shocked that he said this, but he stands behind it. Listen to this insanity he says on a stage in front of an audience.
Higher purpose, and I also think you often need a lower purpose. Like the higher purpose for me.
What's a lower purpose?
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us. So that's my lower purpose. And, yeah.
That means people who think the stock is going down. That's funny.
He means it. This isn't a comedy. Yeah. This isn't a shock comedy thing you signed up for. And
to be fair, I think he was kind of joking. Like I think it was Oh, it's funny because it's true. It's like halfway of a Freudian story. I think that's why it's funny, because it's true, and that's what he really does wish. But if you were to ask him, he would tell you, "Oh no, I was joking, man. I didn't mean that."
I don't think so.
You don't
Okay,
think so?
no, I think no. Okay, we're gonna hear it again, and then he's going. I want people to listen. We won't. Let's just let it play. The audience is responding how they're responding. I think it's confused. I think I think half of them think it's a joke. Half of them are going that was, or if it was a joke, it's very poorly timed and misplaced. What? And then I think the rest of them that aren't responding are going, what are you going to follow up with? Like, hey, did you like my joke? Or are you going to double down? Let's hear what he follows up with, but I'm going to play it again here. Let's just I'm saying, Jay, this isn't the first time he's done this. This is the quiet part out loud. Here we go.
You need a higher purpose, and I also think you often need a lower purpose. Like the higher purpose for me.
What's a lower purpose?
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us. So that's my lower purpose. And, and others. But the higher purpose for me was to get this nation to be the preeminent power in the world, because whatever faults we have, they're nothing like anyone else's.
So I think the end of that is key. Whatever faults we have, they don't compare to anyone else's. So if anyone's going to stop us, we got to get them out of our way and do the thing that we're supposed to do, which is very the Zionist mindset. We know what it is. God wants us to do this. It's dominate the world and take out our competition, take out the enemy. The enemy are journalists too, are analysts who challenge us, and we will take them out because we have a job to do and we're going to get it done. And the three-pronged war and all that shit. He's not actually joking, Jay. He's not actually joking.
He's going to tell us he's joking, though. He's going to tell us he's joking. But yeah, you could be right, man. I mean, and I don't want people to get too hung up on Palantir, the entity, right? Because just take a look at history. What happened with Standard Oil when, they controlled the world? All they did was they broke up into a cartel of smaller companies that were still coordinating efforts with each other, right? So on paper, Standard Oil no longer existed, but the same thing kept happening, just with multiple small parties. So as we're calling attention to the evil, the dystopian future that Palantir is building, it is possible that they build up so much bad press that they have to, take the Standard Oil route and kind of break it up, but still do the same things, just kind of separate it between different companies, because the amount of power they're concentrating right now is absolutely insane. So either Palantir is going to have to rebrand and somehow become like a household name, or they may wind up having to, break up the company, because people are starting to find out a little bit more about them. So just when you're thinking about how to solve this problem, like digital identity, man, like decentralized digital identity, we have to own our data and we have to own our digital footprint, and we have to control how that data is used. So, think about solutions, guys, not just about, explaining the problem.